Now on CoastTV News.
Quiet zone proposal. People in Ellendale say train horns are too loud at night. What town leaders want the railroad to consider. Call crisis. Georgetown's EMS crews are running non-stop. Why they say they're out of room, out of money, and out of time. And bill blowback. Trump's budget agenda faces heat from Elon Musk and others. What it means for the nation's deficit and his political plans.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
The richest man butting heads with the world's most powerful man. Good evening, I'm Christina DeRobertis. Welcome to CoastTV News at 11. We begin tonight with the president's massive spending package. Republican lawmakers are defending the bill while others are now siding with Elon Musk. President Trump trying to corral his party's lawmakers to get behind the bill, while at the same time mending fences with Russian President Putin. NBC's Yamiche Alcindor has details from Washington.
Today, President Trump's massive congressional bill taking two big hits. The first from close Trump ally Elon Musk, the second from the Congressional Budget Office. Today, the nonpartisan CBO projecting the spending package focused on the president's agenda will add $2.4 trillion to the deficit over the next decade. And lawmakers are reeling from the attacks by Musk, who called the bill a disgusting abomination.
We were texting one another, happy texts, Monday. And then yesterday, 24 hours later, he does a 180.
He's entitled to that opinion. We're going to proceed full speed ahead.
Musk, the architect behind federal government firings and the gutting of several agencies, says the bill is pork-filled. And some Republicans agree.
We're spending too much money. That's the reason we've got it in front of us right now.
Still, most GOP lawmakers are defending the bill, saying there's a lot more work and cutting to be done.
I think he believes, in my judgment correctly, that we're quickly becoming debt slaves. Having said that, I'm not ready to throw in the towel on this bill.
And while President Trump fights a battle on Capitol Hill, he is also trying to find a way to end the war in Ukraine. Today, he said he spoke with Russian President Putin for more than an hour. The president called it a good conversation, but not one that would lead to immediate peace. That's quite a change in tone from last week when President Trump called the Russian leader absolutely crazy.
I'm not happy with what Putin's doing. He's killing a lot of people, and I don't know what the hell happened to Putin.
Back then, the Kremlin responded saying President Trump was suffering from an emotional overload. Now, peace talks continue as the war rages on. This week, President Trump is scheduled to speak with another world leader, China's President Xi. They are expected to discuss ongoing trade negotiations. Last month, the two sides lowered their high import taxes, but since then, the relationship has deteriorated. And today, President Trump posted online that he likes Xi, but that he's tough and hard to make a deal with. Yamiche Alcindor, NBC News, the White House.
Moving closer to home now, we have continued coverage tonight of an in-depth financial review on fire companies here in Sussex County. The 542-page report shows how the financial health of every fire department, it varies widely from doing moderately well to living hand to mouth. Coast TV reporter Emma Aiken spoke with one of the companies that scored the lowest.
Answering a call.
The call volume has increased. However, the funding has not.
That's what American Legion Georgetown EMS did 3,841 times in 2024.
We're well overdue for a new building, but we do not have the funds to build that building. We actually need to add a third crew for daytime to cover the district because we have so many calls, but we don't have the place, the room to put those crews in here.
That's Captain Diana Loeb, and she says it's a struggle, which is why she says their low financial health grade that Facets Consulting presented to the county came as no surprise.
We have a large population in Georgetown that are underinsured or do not have insurance, so it's hard to collect from that patient that's been transported when they don't have the means to pay the bill, so we end up not collecting for some of our transports.
According to consultants, an even worse financial health grade than American Legion was the Memorial Volunteer Fire Company in Slaughter Beach. And we spoke with the chief on the phone. He said right now they have no comment and they need more time to digest the report. The report recommends a number of changes for all departments, including more county oversight and a fire service fee. Loeb says that would help.
A lot of people relocate here, they retire here, and they come from somewhere that already had that tax included in their property taxes. We don't have that in Sussex County. So a lot of people think they're already paying that tax, and they're not.
American Legion trying to plan for a safe and secure future, but Loeb says it feels like they're stuck in the past.
And that was Emma Aiken reporting there. Now, it's important to note Georgetown and the Long Neck Fire Companies, they're the only two areas with separate EMS and fire departments. So officials say that makes it tougher for them compared to combination departments like in Milton. Now, as far as Dagsboro, who was the only department to rank in the red in that report, consultants and the president of the fire company tell us it's because they're repaying loans sooner than they need to, which Dagsboro says they have been financially advised to do. So on paper, Dagsboro Fire and consultants say it looks worse than it actually is. And all of this brings us to our Coast TV poll tonight. We want to know how you think that struggling fire departments should improve. We'll take a look at your screen at the updated results. 70% saying the state should help. 16% say they should merge with other fire companies, and just a few saying create new incentives or downsize operations. It's not too late to vote. We really want to know what you think on this one, so go over to coasttv.com or use our mobile app and let us know what you think. Now we're looking live into Lewis, and our First Alert Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams is about to join us with a check on the weather. Good evening, Paul.
Good evening to you, Christina. And you know what? It's a very good feeling evening as well. There's a little slight chill in the air, but nothing we can't handle. I mean, in Milford, for example, it's not even chilly at all, 70 degrees right now. But we do have a little bit of a concern for air quality. Now, our air quality has been downgraded from good for this entire region. Now everybody's in the yellow, which is still moderate, with the exception of Philadelphia, where they're down to unhealthy for sensitive groups. And if you're very sensitive, then you could have some problems going into Thursday. We'll still at least be in the yellow, just coming out of the orange from earlier in the day. But what to expect, we had 77 for today, moderate level of 74 for tomorrow. The air quality is still going to be acceptable, but individuals with respiratory conditions, chronic respiratory conditions, should consider limiting prolonged outdoor exertion as a result of it. We do have air quality alerts in effect just to our north, and that's going to stay in effect for the Philadelphia area, but we're going to stay pretty clear in other parts of the Delmarva Peninsula. And here's our expectations for the rest of the night going into the early morning hours. Winds primarily shifting out of the south-southwest up to about 6 miles per hour. We'll be in the 70s by the time we get to mid-morning. Now, Christina, coming up, we're going to be talking about that chance of rain over the weekend. Looks like we're going from rain showers to possibly real storms.
All right, thank you, Paul. Well, in Ellendale, calls to quiet down train noise are picking up some steam. Tonight, town leaders met to talk about how to silence that nighttime noise. And Coast TV's Matt Hipsman spoke with some neighbors and council members about the push for peace and quiet.
There's been a lot of complaints from town residents of all the noise associated with the trains at night. There's a lot of whistle blowing. There's a lot of process called decoupling, in which there's a lot of banging that goes on through the night during the wee early hours when people are trying to sleep.
It's just become a quality of life issue for myself, my wife, a lot of our neighbors. Woke up at midnight, 12:30, and then having to listen to the whistle for an hour or so.
Some of these people are long-term residents and don't remember having this amount of noise during the early hours of the morning. So there's something we can do to, work with the railroad company to rectify that. Would be great.
Well, the Indian River School District's current expense referendum is tomorrow. This comes after this is their second attempt at the referendum. The first one, it failed in March. Now, Dr. Jay Owens, the superintendent for the school district, says he learned a lot from the voters after that first referendum failed. He said this time around they've done more advertising along with having some public meetings to inform the public and clear up misinformation. Now, if this referendum passes, there's going to be a tax increase of $22.40 per month, or about $270 per year.
The county has a calculator that's available, and we on our website have a calculator. So I'm encouraged by what I hear with individuals using that calculator to determine where their bill lies within a range and how the referendum would impact that bill.
Now, Owens says he understands that voting to approve a tax increase is a hard ask, but a necessary one. People within the school district can vote from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. tomorrow at 8 different polling places, and we have them listed right now on CoastTV.com. Now to Fenwick Island, where the town's Dark Sky Committee is trying to shed light on dark skies. On Wednesday, the committee discussed ways to improve light pollution awareness in town. According to the committee, lights on late at night, they can cause a disturbance to animals and people.
The house directly across from us here, they installed new lights. It just totally illuminated our kitchen, dining area downstairs, like we had turned the lights on.
Now, if you want to learn more about light pollution and what Fenwick Island wants to do, the committee is going to have an event in town. It's on August 5th. Well, driving past St. Jude in Lewis, you may notice several crosses planted alongside the road. It's all part of a movement to call attention to veteran suicide. Starting today until July 6th, the group's Knights of Columbus and 22 a Day will be planting 22 crosses, representing the statistic of 22 veterans that commit suicide each day.
It gives a visual impact of what that loss is, and hopefully motivates people to find out what they can do to help get that number down. And we think that there are easy things for people to do, like if you know a vet, just ask them how they're doing.
And community members are invited to come out at 9:30 a.m. every day. You can observe or you can help and plant your own cross. And we are just getting started tonight at 11. Coming up ahead, speed trouble in Seaford. Neighbors say drivers are racing down a quiet street and they're calling for a solution. But first, a new canine focus. Delaware's prison dogs are now all about finding contraband, and 5 new pups already learning the ropes.
Bay forecast Thursday, 85 degrees, 82 on Friday, and then here comes the rain again on Saturday. Your full forecast in 60 seconds. In Lewis, we're enjoying relatively tranquil conditions with 71 degrees, so we're still a bit on the warm side. And the cloud cover, not really a cover at all. But we will see increasing cloud cover for the rest of the night going into the early morning hours as we settle into the 60s. Now, we had all clear skies today. Won't be quite as clear, but still quite warm regardless. Now, for the Delmarva Peninsula, we're pretty clear. But up here where you see all this gray, that's indicating the air quality alerts that we have active to our north. That's going to still continue to be a thing for us. But we're staying relatively quiet right now. Did you know that we warmed all the way up to 85 degrees today? Now, that wasn't a record high, but it was above the norm for this time of the year. 81 was the high actually in Cambridge, 77 the high in Ocean City. And the reason why I'm saying it with a bit of awe in my voice and delivery is because think about how we've been for the past few, 10 or so days. All of the blues indicate just how much we're below the norm for this time of the year. And the darker blues is even farther. For example, 17 below, 9 below the norm, 15 below the norm. So we've been riding the low side of things, but now we're starting to live on the higher side of things, so to speak. We're going to go to 86 on tomorrow for us in Georgetown. We're going to see 84 in Millsboro, increasing cloud cover in 82 in Vienna and Cambridge, and we should warm to about 82 degrees in Snow Hill, 80 in Berlin. Winds out of the south by lunchtime for us here at home, and 74 in Dewey Beach at 12:30, but 82 in Long Neck, and then cloud cover stays on the thick side across Millsboro a little bit later. And then Friday, we start off in the morning time in the 60s, but by the lunchtime hour, 70 in Bethany Beach, 82 in Milton. Now, as far as more inland areas, for example, Del Mar, Seaford, 4 o'clock Thursday, we're going to be at 83 degrees, both locations. 83 also in Georgetown at 84 in Ellendale. Then we'll drop down to 66 early in the morning for us on Friday. And by Friday, lunchtime, 78 in Seaford. And it's going to stay mild and cloudy along all of Highway 13. And for the next 5 days, the UV index is going to start getting to the very high category. Not extreme, but just started to clip that high category. And I'm not crying chicken little or wolf, so to speak. I want you to think about it. Even though it's 8 on the lowest side of very high, look, we're talking about 4 to 5 days in a row. It's the cumulative effect that we have to be mindful of when it comes to this index thing. So you need to already start practicing good things like your sunscreen, stay in the shade, limit your time outdoors, particularly between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Look for rain to develop on Friday and Saturday in Chincoteague over the next 3 days if you're going to be down that far to the south. Ocean City, we're looking for rain on Friday and possibly Saturday with a little smidgen of sunshine. And we anticipate a chance of rain primarily on Saturday for Lewis and for Rehoboth Beach. Here's a look at your extended forecast. We'll settle into the 70s after that round of rain over the weekend.
All right, Paul Williams, thank you. Well, a major shift is underway in the Delaware Department of Corrections K-9 program. Historically, the state's 28 K-9 units included a mix of patrol and detection dogs, but in response to a troubling rise in contraband smuggling in prisons across Delaware, officials say all new dogs will now be trained exclusively for contraband detection. 5 new recruits are currently midway through a 12-week training program. It's part of a broader effort to improve safety inside correctional facilities.
The purpose for moving to a single-purpose detection dog gives us the ability to be able to have these dogs be social, and we can search people as well as property, vehicles, and those kinds of things.
Officials say patrol dogs will gradually be replaced with detection dogs that are capable of safely navigating areas like entry points, housing units, also prison cells. In Seaford, there are some complaints of speeding, and they're getting attention from police. Neighbors say the Nylon Boulevard extension has become a drag street, and they say some drivers constantly drive faster than the 25-mile-per-hour speed limit. They're fearing it's only a matter of time before someone gets hit.
I think at certain points, if you know there's kids in the area, which we got a lot of them in this town, you need to just think cautiously. We also need to address why these people are speeding up and down here, because I can hear at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, they're racing down Atlanta Road, they're racing down here.
Seaford police say they plan to address speeding on several streets throughout the city. They said they're going to do that using a street-by-street approach. Coming up next, education funding cuts. Big changes could shrink the education budget and limit student loan help. What that means for millions of borrowers. Delaware's Department of Agriculture is now taking proposals for grants to boost projects that support specialty crops like fruits, vegetables, and flowers for the 2025 Specialty Crop Block Grant Program. There's about $340,000 up for grabs, with grants from $5,000 to $75,000, and the deadline to apply is June 24th. Education Secretary Linda McMahon wraps up 2 days of Capitol Hill testimony on Wednesday. She's been grilled by lawmakers about department cuts that will impact students at every level, including those who borrow to help pay for their higher education. The recent federal student loan landscape has created much confusion for current and future borrowers. Karen Kafa is in Washington with what to know.
The White House seeks to slash the Education Department's budget by 15%, and the future of some key federal student loan programs is on the line.
There are millions of people across this country who are just trying to stay on track of all of these changes.
Aisa Canchola Banez, policy director for the Student Borrower Protection Center, says the nonprofit is receiving borrower questions ranging from where to seek help as the Education Department has slashed staff to what President Trump's massive domestic policy bill, as passed by the Republican-led House, could mean for them.
This bill will massively eliminate the number of repayment options that borrowers have at their disposal.
The legislation currently under discussion in the Senate and the Education Department's budget request propose, among other program cuts, limiting federal student loan repayment plans to just 2 options, capping borrowing even for professional programs like medical school, and slashing maximum Pell Grants typically used by low-income undergraduates by about $1,700. Meanwhile, the Trump administration restarted collection of federal student loans in default last month, impacting millions of already squeezed borrowers. Matt Schultz, chief consumer finance analyst for LendingTree, says that could dent the overall economy.
There's no question in my mind that there's going to be a ripple effect in families' budgets as a result of these student loan payments restarting, because most people's financial wiggle room was pretty tiny anyway.
Coming up in sports tonight, new weight rooms in Berlin. The Stephen Decatur Seahawks are raising the bar for student athletes in training.
We salute Greg Maloney. During his time at the Naval Air Station in Iceland, Greg was responsible for keeping aircraft functioning properly so aircrew could patrol the skies and turn back Russian bombers that tried to penetrate our northern airspace. We are grateful for his dedication to protecting our country.
Spicer Brothers and CoastTV are honoring military persons and first responders serving Delmarva. If you have a family member, friend, or community member that you would like to nominate for a CoastTV salute, go to coasttvsalutes.com.
This is Coast TV News at 11.
As measles cases continue to rise across the U.S., researchers are now using sewage wastewater to track the virus. It's a testing effort similar to what scientists did during the COVID pandemic. Sewage was tested for virus particles that helped identify early signs of increasing transmission. Cases could potentially be identified days before any people show symptoms or go to a doctor. Health experts hope that early detection, along with the vaccines, will help curb the current uptick in cases. And as of this week, more than 1,100 measles cases have been reported in the U.S., the vast majority of those in Texas. Well, a 101-year-old woman who just beat breast cancer is proving that there's no age limit on prioritizing your health. Kate Chappell has her story.
I was putting on a nightgown one night.
Lane Horwich has lived a long, healthy life, 3 daughters, 8 grandchildren, and 7 great-grandkids, which is why her breast cancer diagnosis at 100 years old was a shock to her and her family.
And realized there was a lump there. They suggested a mammogram. So I came here, had a mammogram and some other tests.
Luckily, she caught it early, stage 1 breast cancer, and immediately wanted to be proactive.
Many 100-year-olds would probably choose to do nothing, and we talked about that as an option.
Not for Lane, nor was medication. She talked over options with her oncologist, Dr. Catherine Pesch at Endeavor Health.
She had done her own research and learned that the pill form, the medication, could cause hair thinning. And she told me that by no means did she want that because she went to the beauty parlor every week.
So she chose surgery, a lumpectomy. No chemo or follow-up radiation needed.
I have a picture of me coming out after the surgery, and it's really funny because it doesn't look like anything happened.
Lane, like many women, stopped getting regular gynecological exams in her 70s. However, Dr. Pesch says breast cancer risk increases with age, though Lane is her first patient over 100.
It's okay to continue being proactive about your health, get a mammogram.
Over the years, so many people have asked me why my skin looks so good.
As for her good looks and longevity, Lane credits an active lifestyle, including tennis until she was in her 90s. And as seen in this TikTok video,
I always attribute it to Estee Lauder's night repair.
And Lane just turned 101 last month. She says she plans to continue living independently and driving as long as she can. She also just passed her driving test again recently.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
What's going on, sports fans? New beginnings at Stephen Decatur High School, and today was the ribbon cutting for the newest additions in Berlin.
The Decatur Performance Center would not have been possible without all the generous donors.
Well, we're here to celebrate the success of our school in many, many ways. I mean, we've had so many donors that have given graciously to our school for these the Performance Center and the Wellness Center. And I wanted to give a thanks to them for what they're doing for our kids here at Stephen Decatur High School.
The 2 ribbon cuttings unveiled the new Performance and Wellness Center available to all students. And football head coach Jay Coleman says it's great to see this goal come to life.
It's a dream come true, to open up 2 facilities and do the ribbon cutting. It's 4 years of planning and fundraising for a phys ed teacher and a coach. This is a dream come true. So I think that's the purpose of this room, is really just giving an environment to kids that they're going to remember, and they'll never be able to say, well, we didn't have this or that. Well, they got it.
And Principal Tom Seitz has a message for those who help make the athletic program what it is.
Our community here at Stephen Decatur High School in the north end of Worcester County, it's hard to describe the partnership that we have and the things that they have done for us.
Congratulations to Stephen Decatur High School on their new Performance and Wellness Centers.
That'll for sports. Have a great night, everybody.
Coming up next, Father's Day. It's almost here, and while it's our opening, how much people are expected to spend on Dad this year? Well, dear old Dad is likely to make out like a bandit this year. According to the National Retail Federation, spending on Father's Day expected to reach $24 billion. That's a record, and it's way up from last year's $22.4 billion. The average person plans to drop about $200. All that will go toward things like cards, clothing, a special outing, and gift cards.
Take a look at our radar right now. We're looking very clear at this particular juncture, and we're going to stay that way. Our umbrella giveaway winner is Kay Madigan of Lewis. Congratulations, courtesy of Paul Davis Restoration and Home Remodeling. Now, you can keep up with your forecast by calling our weather line. The number to call is 443-880-9100. Your forecast is just a call away. Sponsored by the law offices of Brockstedt, Mandalis, and Federico. And as you take a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast, a couple of things to keep in mind. We are looking for possibly that the air quality might be a bit of a problem for us for Thursday in the mid-morning hours, but should clear up by the afternoon. Friday, we're looking for 82 degrees, but Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, we're now looking for a chance of thunderstorms to develop on Saturday, and it looks like everybody's going to get their fair share of rain on Saturday. So when you see me in the grocery store, I'm going to give you the same answer. The answer is yes, it will rain on Saturday. You got a better chance of talking me out of saying it's going to rain on Sunday. Monday will be dry for a moment, then another round of rain will kick in for us by Tuesday with the chance of a thunderstorm in the afternoon hours.
All right, got it. Thanks again, Paul, and thanks for joining us for Coast TV News at 11. For some more local news and local weather, you can always download our Coast TV News app. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon's up next. We'll see you back tomorrow for Coast TV News at 5 a.m. Have a great night.